Well, good morning. My name is David Hunt. I am the founder and principal partner at Interimco, an independent change management services company. I'm also an approved delivery partner for the Key Account Management Group. It is my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, Sell More with the Right Tools. I'm joined by Mick Homuth and Klaus Wirtzemer, who will be taking you through the highlights of an excellent piece of software called DealGPS, and that's a great sales improvement tool, but more on that later. What I'm going to cover in today's session is spend about 15 to 20 minutes introducing you to a sales skills development program that's a unique way of improving the skills that your salespeople and key account managers have. I'll then hand over to Mick and Klaus, who will take you through the DealGPS software, which will help you to improve your sales performance of your sales team. I'll then spend a few moments summarizing what we've covered today, and then we'll have 5 to 10 minutes at the end for any questions. Now, if you'd like to raise any questions whilst we're going through, you'll see that on the screen on the right-hand side, or the window on the right-hand side of your screen, towards the bottom there's an option for questions. If you click on that, you can enter any questions in there, and I'll review those at the end of today's session. Now, typically within a sales team, there are core objectives that an effective salesperson has to try and achieve. And most companies will require their salespeople to deliver at least one, and often all three of these key objectives. They're typically to identify and sell more new customers, effectively to increase the customer pool that you have, to sell more to your existing customers, effectively to increase the share of the customer spend, and to increase the average customer margin so you can sell more of the higher margin products and services and make more profit. Now, a common requirement is to support the key account team to develop further the skills, tools, and processes to move towards a partnership type relationship with strategic customers and to focus on demonstrable, unique value. One of the immediate problems that we encounter when we talk about key account management is that different people will mean very different things when they use the term key account manager. One of the reasons for this is that over a period of years, key account management has evolved, but it has evolved at different speeds, in different industries, and in different markets. So this means that although we may all use the same terminology, we often mean different things. We can think about key account management as evolving through 5 phases. From the first phase, which is essentially synonymous with transactional selling, so for many people that's not really key account management at all, to the final phase, which describes a codependent relationship between customer and supplier, in which both sides are fully locked into each other to maintain their success. Whilst the final phase may sound as if it's a nirvana for suppliers, many of them are not structured, equipped, or culturally able to reach that point. We can summarize these 5 stages as transactional selling, which, as I've mentioned, many managers would not recognize as key account management, but we include it because some companies still have their account managers behaving as transactional salespeople. This is characterized by the salesperson telling the customer why he or she should buy the products, and this is always a one-to-one relationship. Consultative selling is characterized by the account manager conducting a proper needs assessment and then persuading the customer that his or her product is the best solution. And again, this is generally an individual one-to-one relationship. Preferred supplier status is characterized by ad hoc business development projects, often initiated by the customer, working with 1 or 2 selected suppliers. Typically, again, this is a one-to-one relationship, but with ad hoc multidisciplinary teams being brought in as necessary. Building the bespoke solution supplier is characterized by the customer choosing to favor one selected supplier, which in turn will adapt and alter its products, services, or processes to meet the specific needs of the customer. So this is always a multidisciplinary team and a complex relationship, and it often is jointly funded by both the customer and the client, or sorry, the customer and the services provider. And finally, the codependent dedicated partnership is characterized by the two parties integrating aspects of their businesses to put the focus on serving the needs of the customer's customers. Always dedicated permanent multidisciplinary teams, jointly funded initiatives, sharing of sensitive data. And at this level, both companies are effectively locked in together, and it may be all but impossible for one company to leave that relationship without suffering significant loss. So how do salespeople acquire the skills necessary to perform their jobs effectively? Well, typically this is done with in-house classroom training. Now, traditional classroom training, where a lot of information is crammed and concentrated into 2 or 3 long days, is not truly effective in the long term, and there's a number of reasons for that. Few people can absorb the amount of material in 1 or 2 days. The majority of the learning is forgotten within 20 days. There's no opportunity to practice by doing in the real world, and there's no opportunities to test the new knowledge in the classroom. And classroom role-playing is no real substitute for working with real customers. This training is also rarely driven by the individual's commercial objectives, and the training is really driven by real-world needs. As a result, few companies observe any significant improvements in their top line for any extended period, and as a consequence, they're happy to cut training to save money. If managers were confident that traditional training did have an impact on their business, then they would increase investment when times are tough, because this is the very time when they need more business. But they don't, because they see little relationship between traditional classroom training and commercial results. And traditional sales training is also expensive. You've got the cost of hiring the facilities in the hotel or conference center, plus travel and accommodation costs. And they're so often overlooked when people are considering their budgets. And there's indirect cost, the amount of time away from the office, that is prime selling time. I'm going to introduce you now to a new, more effective model. Now, a high proportion of traditional classroom learning time is spent on lecturing by the trainer or in abstract role-play exercises. This is the least effective form of training and is relatively expensive. The revised model puts the focus together and as individuals on discussion, sharing, immediately using the material, practicing in the real world, and explaining to others. As a result, retention and therefore commercial impact is dramatically greater. Effectively, your salespeople will sell more. Now, experience and independent studies show that there are some key success factors when training and developing skills, such as learn by doing and practicing the new skills in the real world, have regular reviews and reinforcement of the skills learned, prove your understanding of the lessons by explaining the content to others, constant practice of core ideas over an extended period to inculcate those ideas, strong focus on the specific real-world situations and current challenges, and agreeing personal objectives for both the overall program and short time periods with constant follow-up. By investing in the right type of sales development, you will grow your results by growing your salespeople. Now, much of the work of the Key Account Management Group is grounded in established best practice processes covering the entire core key account issues. These best practice processes have been built up over many years and continue to evolve as new learning is developed. This has enabled us to create the most comprehensive and most cost-effective program or roadmap of sales skills development training courses available today. Now, these can be delivered either on your premises, at a local venue, or via the internet using webinar facilities like we are today. You don't have to undergo the whole roadmap or take courses in the order shown on the screen here. You can just take those that are relevant for your current skills level and business needs. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the Foundation Face-to-Face Selling Skills course and the Key Account Growth Planning course. I'll then hand over to my colleagues at DealGPS to introduce you to this great software tool that complements our training on managing the complex sale. Just waiting a moment for the internet to catch up. Okay, it's a bit of a lag on some of the delivery here. I apologize for that. Now, highest performance salespeople and account managers have expertise in 8 core competency areas, as you can see on the screen here. Most salespeople, whatever their current level of performance, can improve their results by focusing on the core components of these core capability areas. So in this course, each module focuses on each one of these skills in turn. And for each of these 8 core competency areas, we can identify the core components in the form of a scorecard. And I'll show you an example of one in just a moment. Similarly, the Key Account Growth Planning course is broken down into 8 modules that you can see here. And each of these modules is further broken down into units, an example of which you can now see on your screen. So as you see, we go into a great deal of detail to equip you with the relevant skills and thought process so that you will be able to develop and deliver on a plan that is realistic, effective, and achievable. Now, the scorecard defines best practice, and that best practice is based upon what we would expect to see from a high-performance company and account manager. The scorecard defines the output for the particular module. In other words, this is what we expect the salesperson or account manager to understand and to do following the module. The scorecard is also used to identify the development needs for each account manager. So how does it actually work? Well, each training course is divided into 10 modules, 1 introduction module, 8 teaching modules, and 1 review module. 2 weeks is spent on each module, so each training course program lasts for 20 weeks. Now, to give you an idea of how this works, let's look at the development cycle of just 1 module in the program. Now, initially, we will send you a tutorial or a pre-tutorial workbook on the particular topic that is going to be covered in that particular tutorial. In this example here, we're looking at Module 6, which is the Customer Needs Analysis from the Face-to-Face Selling Skills course. Now, this will provide background information, key terminology, and links to some videos that cover particular skill sets. So the second part of this is looking at online videos, and we have a whole library of very short, very practical, very informative videos that focus on particular topics. And in this example, that the videos here are all related to customer needs analysis. We then follow that up with a group tutorial. Now, these may either be face-to-face in a location where people go to, and we try to make these wherever possible as local to a single business if they have a lot of attendees, or to groups of companies so that they can actually afford to send people on these types of training courses that typically would otherwise only be affordable by large organizations. But we're also going to be running some of these via the internet as well, so that we can cover a broader geography. Following the group tutorial, you get a post-tutorial workbook which enables you to write down and practice some of the skills that you've learned in that particular tutorial to really make sure that you're understanding things and things stick. This is not just something that's crammed in over the 2-day period. You're having to work on this post the training tutorial. And we assign the occasional buddy task. Now, this is something where we encourage people to form a close relationship with one other person on the same training course. They may work for the same company as you. They may work for another company. And people quite often find that that's quite beneficial to have somebody from a different industry because they have a different perspective and think about things in a different way. And this just helps you to make sure that you do the post-tutorial work, because you have someone else to share things with. It's a bit like going jogging. It's far easier if you do it with somebody else as opposed to having to do something on your own. You're more likely to do it. We also have assessments where you present what you've learned in the real world and you present it to your management or your colleagues back at base. This is really to make sure that they understand what it is that you're learning, and so that you have to make sure that you've learned it in order to be able to do these short presentations. So it's helping to make sure that the information that was given to you in each module really does stick and you really have understood it. And then we will send you the pre-tutorial workbook for the next module. And as I say, each of these module cycles lasts for 2 weeks, and the group tutorials last for 90 minutes. And we try and make these usually early in the morning or in the evening so they don't encroach too much upon prime selling time. Okay, so now I've introduced you briefly to 2 of our most popular courses. I'm now going to move on to the concept of managing the large, complex sale. Now, setting any high-value product or service, either as a one-off sale or as part of a strategic account development plan, in many respects is like a 3-dimensional game of chess between you, your client, and your competitors. In chess, a grandmaster will always beat a novice. There are 2 main reasons for this. 1 is experience, and 2 is forward thinking. A grandmaster leaves nothing to chance. He thinks about every move he could make and every way his opponent could respond. A competent but low-ranking chess player may think 2 or 3 moves ahead. The grandmaster will think many moves ahead, assessing all the permutations to maximize his chances of winning the game. Similarly, the consistently successful salesperson will often be planning his whole sales strategy, refining it as the sale develops. The novice plans no further than the next call, if that. So if your competitor has a more experienced or more forward-thinking salesperson or account manager who has thought of all the angles, all the people who could influence the decision, and how best to ensure all the influences are on side, your competitor will probably win the sale. Now, the cost of losing a major sale or account can run into hundreds of thousands of pounds or even millions. You have the cost of your sales team and bid teams, plus the lost profit for the lifetime of that customer and any other clients that customer might have influenced in your favor. All of the effort and expense you've gone to might as well be money poured down the drain if you lose the sale. So can you really afford to lose that sale? Now, when I worked for Digital, many people know it as DEC, back in the 1980s, they transitioned from selling hardware to selling major systems integration and outsource projects. The total bid cost for a major outsource project could easily top £20 million. Now, provided you won 1 in 3 projects, your business unit would still be very profitable. However, if you did not win the first one, your chances of leading a second bid was very low indeed. Now, there are 3 key elements of a sale that are highly critical. The initial and ongoing qualification needs to be much stricter than is performed by most salespeople and their managers. This is absolutely key to identifying if you should progress or walk away from a sale. You then need to develop the need and the value of your solution, and you need to plan and manage the whole sales process carefully to maximize your chances of winning. And this is where DealGPS comes in. So I'll now hand over to Mick and Klaas to show you this brilliant tool. So I'm just going to hand over control to you. Okay, Klaas, you should now have control.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Welcome to you all. Okay, there we go. Welcome to you all. My name is Mick Helmut. I'm here with my co-founder Klaas Wiertsema, straight from a cold and rainy Netherlands. So I don't know which weather conditions you are today, but we are in a rainy room, but we are very excited to be with you today and to present you about our ideas how to win deals with our tool. David, thank you for the opportunity to be in your webinar and sharing some ideas with the audience. To give you a short, very short personal introduction about our company, DealGPS is part of the audience group, and we were founded in 1990. And like I said already, we are based in the Netherlands. We're Dutch. At least I have the Dutch nationality. Our company specializes in helping our customers to win deals in complex sales situations, deliver leadership and management programs in the high-end industries. And next to that, we are also affiliated with the Erasmus University of Rotterdam. And as a matter of fact, Klaas is also a part-time assistant professor at the Erasmus University of Rotterdam and publish books in the field of management and communications. Just a year ago, we founded DealGPS. And please let me take you to some insights we gain talking with customers, people from the field, so that you can understand where we are coming from and why we have developed DealGPS like it is. Some insights from the field. We've been talking with a lot of people in the field in the last couple of years, and we have noticed there is a fundamental change in the field of sales. Before we go into the insights, let me start asking you a couple of questions, just two. The first question, what percentage of the sales force does not make quota quarter after quarter? And I know you're not able to enter the answer, but just think about that and think about yourself. If you are making your quota quarter after quarter. The answer to this question was 67%. So 2/3 of the sales force does not make their numbers quarter after quarter. The point is, if you ask them what's the number one reason to fail, the response to that question is that they are unable to execute all the tasks necessary to close the deal. Does it sound familiar to you? That's the question. We have been talking with, like I said already, with a lot of people in the field, and they gave us a couple of reasons why this is so difficult to execute all the tasks necessary to close the deal. The first reason they gave us is that there is a fundamental change in the buying process of the client. The client is well informed and they are very, very high demanding. The second reason is that the buying decisions are moving higher in the organization. There are more people involved in the formal and informal buying process. The complexity is higher, the cycles are getting longer, and the cost of sales, like David already pointed, is going up. The third reason is that not only the client is more demanding, but also your own management is also more demanding when it comes to the administration of client information for them to make informed decisions. So it makes that salespeople have a lot of administration to do, a lot of burden to, in fact, satisfy their internal organization. And last but not least, is although a lot of people have been trained in sales process, sales methodology, and sales skills, most of the companies, according to CSO Insights, more than 50% of large B2B companies, they don't have a formal sales process and methodology implemented and applied in the organization. In fact, the point is, if you don't know where you have to go to, you will get lost. And that might be the reason that it's so difficult nowadays to execute all the tasks necessary to close a deal. And like David already said, the best way to do it is to have a kind of a guidance to guide you, to navigate you through the deal. Helping you to answer the questions, to qualify the deal and to monitor continuously what chances do you have to close the deal, helping you to uncover and develop the client's needs, and to help you to manage the sales cycle effectively. These are the 3 critical stages for success. Based on this, we have developed DealGPS. And in fact, DealGPS helps you to proactively answer 3 critical questions. First question, what are my chances to win? It helps you proactively with actions that you can take to win the deal, and it will give you guidance with smart roadmaps and playbooks how to manage the process. So in fact, we have developed what we call a smart sales performance support tool to help you to proactively help you to win deals. That's a question, this is a question we get a lot of time. Okay, we have the CRM. Where is DealGPS different than our current CRM? DealGPS is fundamentally different than a CRM, where CRM and Salesforce automation tools help you to administrate, capture and track information. DealGPS helps you to provide proactively help to you with smart sales roadmaps, win chance assessments. We have a knowledge base, win improve actions, smart sales reporting tool, sales call planner, and even a sales question generator that generates compelling and proven questions that you can ask during the sales call. In fact, it boils down to DealGPS is a proactive tool compared to a CRM system where it's much more reactive, a passive tool.
Okay, I'll take over here and go to the live demonstration of DealGPS. In the previous setup before the crash, I had it opened already, but what I'm going to do right now is go to the right spot. Just wait for the website. All I'm showing you here, by the way, is running in the cloud. So the demonstration I'm showing you here right now is running now from one of our servers, in this case our demo server. What you see here is where we always start up DealGPS. This is, and that is a trait of DealGPS anyway, fully adjustable. We can adjust it to the wishes of the customer. Whatever they want, we can make a dashboard with key indicators. This is just what you see a lot. It's not specially just needed, and, but the fully adjustable part is really appreciated with our customers. What you see here, you can immediately see the health of your sales funnel. How are you doing? How are you performing? In this case, it's not bad actually. We are in the green zone, fortunately. whenever you click in one of the phases, wherever you click, you will get a full overview of all the opportunities that are existing in those phases. If you go to the overview, you immediately see all your running opportunities. You can order this. In this case, it's ordered by phase, but you can do whatever cross-section you like. So, for example, I can drag this back, and you get a full oversight. If you, which is quite useless in this case, but because there are not many accounts made in this, but you can see that every cross-section for easy searching and getting different overviews is possible. I will get in the interface up here. You see all the. Let me close my mail, otherwise it will keep on getting in. Here on the top, you see the main applications of the software. Accounts, opportunities. Here you see the sales goals, the context that can be integrated fully with almost all CRM systems. I don't know of any CRM systems that we are not able to integrate with right now. But okay, I don't know. There are small packages that could be an exception to this rule, of course. Let me show you, immediately go back to the questions that Mick did ask you. Let me go to the main compartments of opportunities. I will just select one of the opportunities, click on it, and I immediately get an overview of how this opportunity is going. Normally, as a salesperson, you will go in a sequence. This sequence is quite the normal workflow, of course, but I will highlight the exceptional things that we deliver that Mick already stressed first. Let me go to the compare win probability. We are not making a guess like usually happens, that if you ask people what are the chances that you will win this opportunity, some people are just over-optimistic, some people are too negative, but it's always guessing. Actually, it's not quite reliable. As a sales manager, if you know your people, you know how to compensate for it, but we preferred actually to have a reliable measurement and a good comparison to all the people. We tested this extensively, and we found out that the numbers that we gave, for example, here 59% in this specific example, are right on spot if we tested it in different settings with customers.
We also invite you, if you want to, afterwards to contact us and to do the challenge with us. We can do it online.
We can do it online. It will take you, by the way, if we don't do any small talking or whatever, it will take you around 6 minutes to get a full estimation and some more. And the some more I will show you. By the way, what you see here to the left, this is our score, and this is the 66% is the score of one of the competitors. Immediately you see here that they are in a visible way, in a graphical way, compared as well. If I change one of the scores, you will see that the results will be quite different compared to each other. So you immediately can have a quick overview where you are standing strong and where your weaknesses are. The core thing is, this is based on the 9 key issues that in literature and with very experienced people are identified as the key issues, the key questions, if you will make a deal or not. But knowing what your chances are is nice, of course, but the wonderful thing is we wanted, of course, the key issue, how to improve this win probability. That is actually what is quite unique, I dare to say. And based on what you fill in the previous fields, you will get advices of what to do to improve your win chances. I'll show you. I'll just click on it. It's calculating right now because I changed some things, and based on your answers it will give you all kinds of advices what you could do to improve this win chance. Of course, it's still up to the intelligent human being, the sales professional, to make up the decisions, but we'll brainstorm with you to give you ideas how to move on with these deals. For example, if I just pick an example, update the decision-making process. So we detected in this case that it's not quite clear, that you're not in control of the decision-making process, and talk it over please with your internal salesperson, it says over here. So the one with your customer that is sponsoring you. Here, if you decide this is interesting to me, you can select a date that you want to address this issue, and that will be carried through in the planning of sales calls. I'll show you later. So it's all fully integrated. It gives you a quick overview of everything that you have to do. If you still are hesitating, you can get here in the activity center. I won't show it now because we have limited time, but in the activity center you will get a full overview of all the actions that you did select, and you can again make all the cross selections. So to us, the most important things, and we can like Mick said, easily demonstrate this for you in 6 minutes time. If you fill in a specific opportunity that you do have, we will fill in for you, together with you, this compare win probability field. We will give you immediately the actions that we do recommend, the software DealGPS does recommend for you to move on this deal. So please, if you feel tempted, take the challenge and share it with us, please. What you see here, by the way, and you recognize this with these specific edit fields, these are the things that you, because it's specific for this deal, Mr. Dijkstra, I don't have a clue who he is. It's not one of my customers, but Mr. Dijkstra, he wants to work with the current SAP CRM system. That could be a challenge there, and what to do. This is filled in by the account manager himself. It's specific to this deal. The software cannot detect it, but you can add things that are relevant, and you can even choose to share it with colleagues because you think in our business this is always relevant. So it will grow with you, it will grow with your business in the future. So let me take you to the sequence for a second, how people normally work. Of course, in the first fields, you will fill in all kinds of specific information about this deal. And the snapshot actually is calculated by the software. It gives you a quick overview of where you are standing, in which phase of the sales funnel it is, when is the closing date, when it's entered, just all relevant information, some financial information is set there. Then, to move you through the sales funnel, you will need to have a specific sales structure in place, of course, and we do it fully adaptable. Everything that you read here in language can be fully adapted to your specific wishes. What you do here, based on these dates, you see 2 rows of dates. If you've done something, you will see it fills in this specific date because you did it today. So it moves you through the sales funnel. You can fill in things that it does not necessarily have to be this specific order. Usually it will, but you can jump through this sales funnel, of course. The second you filled in all, it will move on in all our financials to the next stage or phase of the sales funnel, of course. The second you don't think it's very applicable for this deal, you just push the non-applicable button. If you think I need to do this, then you can change but on another date, then you can change this date, of course, because all these dates what you see here are calculated on the base of your average sales cycle, and it will predict, if you follow this average, it will predict when you should have done what. It makes it, because in our most extensive version, extended version, you can use this as signals for the sales management as well. So a sales manager can get a dashboard where he will get all kinds of information. For example, that somebody will not make his sales cycle time on average, so you should pay attention to it. So all kinds of signaling is in place. But for example, to give you another example, the second the software detects that somebody always is stuck in a specific stage in the sales funnel, the sales manager will be warned, so you need to coach him, do some training effort or whatever it needs to make him better in that specific aspect. Sometimes we gray this out, then you won't even see it, but for more complex deals, of course, you want to think it over extensively. You want to know the strategy of your the company, of your client, and you want to make a SWOT analysis or whatever you think is necessary. Some of our customers only want the business window that you see on the left side with the strategy field. Sometimes our customers only want the SWOT analysis. Whatever you choose for, it's fully flexible. So this forces people to think over the specific deal. If I go, just to show you how we do this, how we make the decision-making process, then it's fully flexible. Again, you just can make it whatever you like. You can drag it wherever you want, and whenever you want a new person, you just drag it in and you can make new relationships. I won't do it right now. The second you hit on one of the persons on the right-hand side, you immediately will see all kinds of relevant information for this specific person. Of course, his job position, but what kind of a person is it, what kind of a buyer type, what is his attitude towards you. You immediately see this, by the way. For example, this one is neutral, so he's light green. This one is an ally, so you see the heavy green the color surrounding it, and over here probably she's not in favor of your opportunity, and she could be a threat, and you see it here, is marked as an enemy. That's why the color immediately warns you. In this way you can have build your own decision-making process and play with it, and people will love to do this anyway and talk it over. Usually what I do with our own customers, I'll just do it with my ISP. I'll build this. They love it actually to play around with it. So it's kind of a gaming with the customer, and they really love this, like I said. The last field that you did not see of the opportunities yet is the competitive matrix. And what this does actually, and again an estimation with you and your competitor, but you see here relevant to this, so it's fully adjustable per opportunity, because what you see here is what is considered being important by your prospect to buy from you. What are the important factors? So here you will give it a weight. How important is this to your customer, and how do we score on this? You can make the list as long as you like to. You can add fields, and you can of course have templates as well, because some the opportunities are quite similar, so people love the templates to get the first things in place. This is for the rest opportunity specific. Again, if I change our own scores, you immediately will see that the visual cues are changing as well. So this is the overview of what we do with opportunities. Within, and that is the last part I'm going to show you right now. In the last part that I'm going to show you, you've got sales calls, so you're going to telephone or you're going to meet people within this opportunity. Let me show you briefly how we deal with that. Again, you prepared some sales calls. I select one here I already made. Of course, you can add a new one. The pluses, by the way, always give you the opportunity to make a new one in all the applications. But what you see here is an overview, of course, of what are you going to do and what is the purpose of your meeting. Again, if you want, the sales manager can follow this. He can see how you are preparing on the sales call that you are going to make and help you out whenever he thinks or you think it's necessary. In the attendees, that's quite straightforward, so I won't bother you long with it, but again, it's easy, drag and drop, and those are the attendees of your meeting. Of course, we want you to think it over. What are you going to do there anyway? Yeah, I'm personally always surprised, by the way, how many people go unprepared to sales call meetings, and let's see what's coming out of it. I think it's unbelievable, it's unprofessional, and I can't believe this is still happening, but I've seen it a lot in highly professional environments. But okay, that's a personal annoyance. We want to people to be prepared. What do you want to get out of the meeting? What should the results be? The possibilities, the impossibilities of your customers, the people that you are going to meet with. What do we need to do to create positive attitudes, etc., etc. The factors and objectives actually are the things that you saw before in the opportunities as recommendations. What should you do to move the deal forward? Those things are, those factors and objectives are taken along to this field, and here you can select which ones you are intending to address in this specific meeting. If you do that, of course, and as a reminder, you still see them, but now you can't select anymore, but you see the selected ones to the left-hand side, and here you can make up the questions, what should I ask to address this issue? Of course, we will help you out the second you get stuck. We'll again brainstorm with you. For example, if you think current situation is relevant, we will provide you with all kinds of questions that gives you ideas of what to ask next. And not only we want you to prepare on the questions which you should ask, but what questions could the customers possibly ask you, and be prepared. Again, always our motto is be prepared, please. After you're prepared, of course, as a reminder again to the left-hand side, the things you selected, you can make an agenda here with the things in your own words. You have to formulate this yourself because you want to cover up sometimes what the specific questions are, but you want to make an agenda with the possibility of the customer to add some things himself. The reason that it gives you a forbidden sign is simply because we always wanted to give the opportunity to your customers to ask, to react on your proposal for the agenda and to add some agenda points. So you can add them here, you can directly print them and mail them to your customers. It's highly appreciated, by the way, because again, your customers know that you're not going to waste their time, but that you're well prepared. The last field is reporting. Of course, if you did a sales call, your manager, if you're the manager, you want to see your people's outcome of meeting, and here usually people don't like it, of course, to do this, but it's quite necessary. You can do this online. It's all immediately after the sales call. There's a web application specific for this with these fields. Did you meet your purposes? Do you have some extra commands? The actions to be taken, and these were the factors and objectives you wanted to address. Do you have extra information? Did you meet them? So a full reporting of everything that went on in the sales call. For now, these are for the daily work of the account manager. These are the most important fields. I will hand over to Mick again. Thank you for listening, Mick.
Just a final word from my side on. What you've seen here is our answer to the challenge salespeople meet today, which is they are unable to execute all the tasks necessary to close the deal. And as you could say, with DealGPS, we help people to manage all the tasks, to help them with advices, to help them to execute all the tasks necessary to close deals. And our customers, they claim that by using DealGPS, their win chances are growing with 40%, and the sales cycle time is declining with average 30%. You can see that on our website. You can enter the calculator yourself. And if you have any question, please feel free and be invited to contact us, to challenge us, so we can have the discussion in a one-to-one and demonstrate you much more in depth what DealGPS can do for you. Thank you. David, you can take over.
Thank you very much. And I really do think this is a great tool. So just bear with me while I'll take control back for the final few slides. Now, I've been using this approach for more than 20 years as a sales or sales manager, and I've used it in high-value sales and strategic account development. But up until now, I've had to use my own tools, my own bits of paperwork for qualifications, the needs development, and the whole sales process management, because there's been nothing like DealGPS to help. DealGPS really is the best tool that I've come across that genuinely helps and leads salespeople to help them be more productive and more successful. And the templates and the terminology it uses are being tailored to match the terminology we use in the Key Account Management Program. It's a very methodical, logical, and thoroughly well thought through program. Just like the chess grandmaster, thinks ahead and tries to give practical advice and guidance to improve the performance of your salespeople. Now, with low value, low cost sales that may be won or lost in a single call, losing a few sales may not be that significant. But when you're involved in long sales cycles with high cost of sales, where the rewards for success are high and the cost of failure is also high, you cannot afford to lose very often. So you need to tip the balance in your favor to maximize your chances of success. And today we've introduced you to two key elements to make your key account salespeople more successful. The first is the extensive, high-impact, yet low-cost sales development program, and that's available through the Key Account Management Group. And the second is the very powerful sales element, DealGPS. These combined with one-on-one sales consultancy from Inter & Co. or one of the other authorized delivery partners for the Key Account Management Group on specific aspects of key account management, or even on specific high-value sales, will have a dramatic impact on the success of your salespeople and your business. You've already heard some of the statistics that Mick came out with just then about the way DealGPS helps improve your performance. One of the important values of having the consultancy as well is that I sat through a number of sales managers' reviews, and they ask questions like, do you know what the sales decision-making process is, or do you know what the customer need is? And the salesperson says yes, and the sales manager then moves on. He doesn't question it. And it's important to actually ask the specific questions. What exactly is the process? Who are all the people who are involved in this sale? Not only who could say yes, but who could prevent you from winning the sale? And what steps have you taken to make sure you've got them on board? And it's making sure that you're going through that process that's important. DealGPS helps provide the structure, and the consultancy can help enforce the discipline of that until you're comfortable and familiar with using this on a day-to-day basis. So what next steps do I suggest from today? Well, there is a white paper, an executive briefing paper called Changing Sales Behavior for Good, which I wrote very recently. And that goes into the whole philosophy of the sales training approach that the Key Account Management Group provides. And it goes into a bit more detail than I've had time to cover in today's webinar. So if you'd like to understand more about how the training program works, then please request that particular white paper. You can do so by using the Q&A facility, or you can also do so by sending me an email afterwards. Book your first course, and the first two courses that we currently have scheduled, there's a face-to-face selling skills course which covers all of those 8 core fundamental sales skills that every salespeople should master. That 20-week course begins on September the 27th, and that those tutorials that take place every 2 weeks for 90 minutes will be held in London. If you're interested in that, then email richard@horncoaching.co.uk. He's the sales trainer that will be running that particular course. If key account growth planning is more the area that you're into, the tutorials for that will actually be run via webinars like today, and that's going to be commencing on October the 25th, again with webinars every 2 weeks for those 90-minute tutorials. If that's of interest, then send an email to me, david.hunt@interimco.co.uk. As Mick said, request a demo of DealGPS. We've only had time to show you just a few highlights in today. There is so much more to the product, and it is so much more powerful than a CRM system for helping salespeople improve their sales performance. If that's of interest, then email mick.humut@dealgps.com, or simply give me a call afterwards, and I can address any aspects of your inquiry. I appreciate that we have overrun very slightly because of the technical problems we've had. So we've had quite a few questions coming through. So I'll just pick on a couple of quick questions now, and we'll give personalized answers to all the others that we haven't had time to cover in today's particular session. So the first question really for you, Mick, is DealGPS also available on tablets and mobile phones?
Yeah, DealGPS runs on all devices, which is laptop, desktop, tablet, and mobile phone. However, running DealGPS of mobile phone is not what we really suggest to people. So at least you need to have tablet to run it on it. But if you want to, it can run on a mobile phone, smartphone also.
Okay, and the one other question that I'll pick on today, which I'm sure is going to be of great interest to many people, how do you deal with the resistance of salespeople dealing with yet another tool?
Actually, yeah, that is an issue, because we notice that in many companies people have resistance, for example, CRM. The way we deal with it usually is just use DealGPS in sessions. Once they have seen it and they really know that they are getting helped moving a deal forward, the resistance easily is gone. I can imagine, because usually in many tools they fill in all kinds of fields that they always have the feeling that they are filling in things for their management, and there's nothing into it for themselves. The second they have the feeling they strongly get helped moving their deals, raising their bonuses, for example, which is quite important, of course, the resistance is gone in our experience. Mick, you wanted to add? Okay, that's it. Thank you, David.
Thank you for that. In the essence of time, I will bring the presentation to a close. I'll just put back on the screens there the contact details if you're interested in booking courses or arranging a demonstration of DealGPS, or indeed if you'd like a copy of the white paper. So with that, I would like to thank you all for attending, particularly those of you who are attending in the middle of the night, because we do have people from all time zones around the world joining in today's webinar. So it clearly has been a very, very important topic. So thank you all very much. I'd like to thank Klaus and Nick from DealGPS for their excellent contribution as well. So thank you and goodbye.